All right, now it is recording. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think what was it, a week ago? Yes, Tyler was going to be the lead, but he didn't show. So,
And last
Vanjie,
week,
did you happen to watch any the rest? I know you were here for a little bit.
Yeah, no, I didn't get to watch the rest of our video,
Okay.
but
Okay.
my signal cut out at the hotel and I wasn't able to get back on. But
No problem.
What did we conclude on that? Do you remember? Okay, I'll watch the video. I'll watch the video.
Well, I think I remember, like,
you don't have to watch it. Just I'm trying to remember what that was about.
that was about the safety.
The safety. Mm-hmm.
Aluminum company, I guess. No, not that one. Is it that one? I don't know.
Yeah, it was that one.
Okay. Oh, yes,
Okay.
it was that one. Yeah. So I think we decided that the company should expand their programs
Oh, okay.
and train everyone who is in the safety department, and not only in the safety department, everyone in the company, and everybody should take the responsibilities on the safety.
Okay.
So this is
That's right.
Remember.
That's right. Oh my gosh, I've read so much stuff since then. I don't remember.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah, I feel like my brain is just fried. So, have we each been leader twice already?
Well, I mean it twice.
Dan is coming. He said he'd be home in 20 minutes. Be here in another 5 or so. But yeah, it really would be Tyler's turn. So.
Or Dan,
I don't know.
because Dan never been the leader. So
I wanted to share with Vanjie, though, it was interesting that Varush was actually able to participate in one of the office hours.
Mm-hmm.
And Sister Krieger,
Mm-hmm.
she actually shared that she doesn't watch the videos. Yeah. The videos are, and you may already know this, but she said, no, the videos are more just for the group members who don't make it, and then they can watch it.
I see.
If they weren't able to be here, and then they could mark that they were here just because they watched the video.
I see.
I found that interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know, I didn't either. So I'm glad that Varush found that out.
Yeah.
Right.
I was so confused. I had so many questions. I thought she was watching the videos. But
I can only imagine how many videos she would have to watch.
Well, then that's what I said. You know, I mean, because they're 45 to an hour. That's a lot. There's no way. That would be really.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you just. I'm looking funny because I get tired of seeing the glare of my glasses. It makes sense though, because if I couldn't make it, I would definitely want to have the opportunity to watch the video. So it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
do you guys?
So looking at these 5 individuals who are in the case this week that we're supposed to discuss, I just wanted to clarify with you guys. So the first one, Sid, my takeaway was that he wasn't for. He's not for the plan, but he also thinks that you should be recognized individually and not as a team. Is that what you guys understood?
That's what I understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a group effort type of thing.
Right. So, and then Ruth, one of the biggest things I got from her comments was that she's got a great team, amazing team. And so she doesn't think she was definitely she had a negative opinion towards the science guys.
Mhm.
And the teamwork thing she likes because their team is dynamic and
Right.
they're probably selling the most, they're making the most, they're doing the best in the company. And then Miles, I didn't even write a note down. I don't remember what his take was. And then Gus Teller, I put he's for the teams teaching each other what is working. So, but as far as the plan, I don't know that anybody was actually really for the plan.
It didn't seem like it.
It didn't seem like it to me either. And then the last guy, Bill Purcell, he thought that they should just reduce staff to whoever doesn't agree on the plan. Okay, we'll give you severance pay and you're out of here. And that was,
Right.
I guess that's one way to dwindle staff down.
Right. Huh. No kidding.
Excuse me. But Miles, I don't recall exactly
Hmm.
what Miles' take was. So the team leader is supposed to.
I think Miles,
Mhm.
I think he was about like performance as an overall company, as opposed to like individual teams.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh, true.
yeah, and I believe he was for the, was it fixed pay? I don't remember.
Yes, fixed costs.
Fixed cost. That's the word.
Right.
Because he said something about the economy went, or prices went up on something and affected the company,
Hmm.
but it didn't affect the employees' pay because it was a fixed cost.
Yes. So the oil prices and the ethylene
Hmm.
went up, but yeah, the company protected the employees' pay.
Correct. Who was the
So
other person? Teller?
yeah, Gus.
Hmm. I think he agreed with Miles, didn't he? Gordon? I can't.
Uh-huh. He did.
He said something about make sure it helps like everyone to work harder, I guess.
Mhm.
As opposed to
Yeah.
teams, there's like more competition. And if
Yes.
there's like a top team, like other people are not going to be as motivated because they're going to be like, well, we're already the top team. Why should we even try? Type of thing. Like,
Right. True. Okay, I'm going to look at the other instructions, and we could do the other ones. So it says to begin brainstorming
mhm.
for ideas for a better pay plan. Oh, this is still part of the role play. It doesn't say if you don't have enough people what you should do. That doesn't.
Well, maybe we just play the roles, 3 of them. I guess. I don't know.
Which step is that?
Well, I was reading 3. I was reading step 3 because I was hoping that we could just talk about other stuff, but I guess the whole thing is role playing. So the whole thing is role playing about each of us taking on one of these roles. The lead this week is supposed to assign one of the roles to each of us. And then we're supposed to go through a conversation, having a meeting, taking on that role. It says get into character as much as you can. Begin by saying something like this. Welcome to the Top Chem Pay Committee meeting. As you know, Sam Verde has asked me to lead this committee. Okay, so we're kind of going through what they already did here, sounds like. Although I worked hard on the initial pay plan, I realized that no plan will be successful without support from employees. I want to get your input so we can create a pay plan that will be best for everyone. Oh, I see. Okay. It's confusing to me though, because just because I have a hard time role playing.
Yeah, me
And
too.
then step 3, brainstorm ideas. Gus is supposed to be the scribe to write down at least 20 ideas from the group. And then after we come up with ideas, then we're supposed to go through each idea to talk about the pros and cons.
Oh, wow.
I know it. Include a discussion of which employees will be happy or unhappy with each option.
Are there that many options available?
I don't see how.
I mean, I don't know. Not that I learned in the reading anyhow.
No.
I mean, do I need to like Google it and research it or something and figure out what other options there are? Because there was nothing like that in the reading.
So, and then it says no, there wasn't. Here are some questions you might want to ask as you go through this discussion. Which is better? Guaranteed pay that is the same for all employees based on market rates and or seniority, or incentive pay that is linked to performance. This makes more sense now.
Right.
Then other than coming up with out of the blue ideas.
Right.
So, I mean, to me, the second one makes more sense. I mean, if you're performing well and you're producing more,
right,
then you should be paid accordingly. The first one, guarantee pay that is the same for all employees based on market rates. So you're always going to have slackers. You're always going to have people who just do what they have to do to get by. And then you're always going to have people who work their tail off and make the rest of your group look good.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I don't know. The second one to me makes more sense. If you have seniority, though, and you're one of those kind of people,
right,
that needs to be taken and considered as well, though, because just because you're high up there, I work with people who make a ton of money, and to me, they waste our money.
Mm-hmm.
They don't work hard, and they don't earn the money, and that's very frustrating.
Because probably because in a way they feel, well, I have seniority, I've been here for so long, like I've already done my share of the work. I feel that I don't need to contribute as I used to before. It's time for the new people to do that.
Right. But
kind
yet
of
they sit
idea. Yeah.
they sit in the chair raking in the majority, you know, they have top pay in our district, top pay. But yet the main thing that this person does, I feel, is make sure that everybody else is doing the things that they're delegating out.
Right.
And it's so frustrating. That's the kind of stuff that actually prompted me to go to school, because I would never be that way.
Mhm.
But it's like, wow, we really need better leaders. This is crazy.
Yeah. And you know, like, you know how like in the reading, like Bill suggested like cutting out 15% of the workforce?
Yeah,
You know, I thought, well, okay, that would be kind of a good idea, but not like offering a severance pay or anything.
right.
I think it should be solely based on like performance reviews and like
Right.
give them time, I guess, you know, let them know what's going on, or maybe not, you know, so that way you can weed out the people that aren't really achieving the goals that they're trying, you know, that they're setting,
Yeah.
you know. And so I think by cutting the workforce, even by like at least 5 to 10% based on performance reviews would be good.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of job do you work at?
Who?
Do you
Me?
work?
No, I did
Okay.
before I had my first. I did property management
Oh,
for
okay.
apartments, but after I had her, I stay at home mom now. But
Nice. That's great. So then for me, I really enjoy my job. It's frustrating to watch other people and how they perform and how they expect, just because
right,
of, yeah, whatever time they've been here or so. But I truly do have a passion for what I do. And that's kind of what I've had to work through, is to focus more on I'm here to do a job and I just need to do the best I can and not let all that other distraction garbage affect my attitude,
right.
because it's easy to do.
Oh yeah. You
Um,
know, it could.
the next one says, if you use an incentive pay system, how much pay should be based on performance, or how much should be guaranteed? So to me, that sounds like the incentive would be more like a percentage,
Right.
kind of like a bonus each month of,
Like 25% and up or something like.
yeah. Oh my gosh, it's not even coming to me. When I used to do hair for a living, I could not work at a shop where you only make commission. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, commission. Mhm.
Commission. So to me, that's how I read that, is that an incentive pay would be like a commission of however, you know, whatever over this amount. If we do better than this, then everybody will get a commission. I don't know. That's kind of how I see that being, but maybe that's not right.
Well, I think it should be all based on your work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, to me, it's much um, like sport players, where they can get financially rewarded for doing like exceptional playing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the better you are, the more you make. So, like, it's like, you know, like in some countries, in some places, they it's not necessary for them to look for your education background. It's not like if you have, like, let's say, bachelor degree in business management, you will be at top in the company, you will be at management department, and you won't do much. And on the other hand, you get the lower employee, where they get the lower positions, and they get low incomes, and they do more than the management. You know,
Oh,
so in some countries, they don't always look on your educational background. They will look for what you can do, what do you know, what experiences do you have, what changes can you make, you know,
That's
instead of just
great.
having that piece of paper, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a lot, say like a lot of college students, you know, they get out of school with their bachelors, but they have no clue what's happening outside. You know, they have no
Right.
clue what's happening on the businesses.
Right. I I feel like that common sense piece is missing sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. So even in like in Iraq back home, as I said, people will always look for experiences, what you have done,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just having a piece of paper. Because I mean, like people with a great education background, they haven't done business like practically. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like something has a hand on, like experience something,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
they have read thousand articles as we are doing right now. You know, and to
Ex-
Right.
me,
yes.
yeah, and to me, our like I'm coming to school right now. It's not because I want to get experienced in businesses, or I'm gonna make $1,000 million just because I attended school. No, I don't believe in it very much. But to be honest, I'm coming to school just like, I mean, I'm new to the country, so I'm trying to learn the language a little better, and to learn a little bit about this system. That's all what I'm trying to do. But in a business wise, like in an office and stuff like that, I much rather like to be in a company in person and experience things.
Mm-hmm. Well, and recently I've looked up a lot of job descriptions and applications, and what the qualifications are
They don't ask me.
is it'll say a bachelor degree in business or whatever, but then it'll say preferably 3 to 5 years experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the key right there, is having the experience.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, I've seen that too.
you have the experience when you go to that when you go to the interview, you're not going to have the answers they're looking for, because I've done that and it's
Uh,
embarrassing, but I at least learned what they want to know.
Mhm.
It's been
oh yeah.
interesting.
Like even to me, like even if I keep reading, it doesn't like, it sticks in my mind for like couple of hours, couple of days, I would say, but it wouldn't stick with me as much as if I've been there and I been in a situation, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah, you're
So
actually
what I
doing
mean
it.
is, like, if you've been in a situation, you will never forget it. You will learn from it. But when you read and read and read, that, I mean, you can't like always keep it in mind what you have read or remembered all the time as
No,
much
because
as.
tomorrow we have to read another article, and then after that we have to read another. We're putting so much into our head.
Uh-huh.
It's Yeah.
But if you put so much situation in your head, like you wouldn't forget it. Like situation where I mean, you were presented there, like you've been there, you'll never forget it.
Yeah.
That's how I see.
So So if you use an incentive pay system, is it better to tie pay to individual performance or team performance, company performance, or a combination?
I think a combination of individual and company performance.
I think so too. I guess it really depends on I mean, some companies aren't going to have a team situation, or
Hmm.
so I kind of like the combination piece as well. But it has to be individual too. So looking back on this article, to me, it's you come up with a pay plan that people agree on, and you have both of those situations. To me, it's up to each like department manager to evaluate and submit their thoughts on what they have observed, because otherwise payroll doesn't know.
Right.
I mean, somebody's got to tell them who has been the top performers.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah, go
well,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, as far as like the individual and company performance, I think the pay should also be, there should also be a base pay that is, you know, it's not going to affect the employees, like what do you call it? Like that they're not going to be stressed out about not being able to like pay their rent, or like
Right.
there should be
Yeah.
a pay level that is comparable maybe to what's in their market.
A guarantee.
So I think they should do some market research and see what other companies similar to them are paying their employees, and base the base pay off of that. And then incentive pay could be added on top of that so that employees are able to achieve a bit more pay based on their performance, individual and as a company.
And if there are opportunities for group stuff, if you are on a team and you're working on something, I see where a huge value is if you are trying to help other people, like gain knowledge too, share what you know, and try and teach others. Do it this way. This is a better way. Not necessarily saying those words, but you're trying to encourage others to improve and cut down time to where things are more efficient. And to me, that's all should be in an evaluation or observation of management that sees this happening. And that's why you're going to get incentive pay, is because they see that you're trying to build up the rest of the people around you. You're not trying to just have the spotlight on you. I know everything and you don't, and I'm not going to tell you. So not that kind of attitude.
Well,
right.
That's how I see that being.
So for me, I thought, again, like incentive should really be tied to individual performance. I mean, there are occasions when groups could get an incentive pay, but again, I mean, that depends on the structure of the company.
Right.
But otherwise, incentive should go to the individual.
Right. And I agree. Even if you're in a team, everybody doesn't always achieve the same level and have the same knowledge. But yet, when I have worked with people who have a great amount of knowledge, I'm gaining something there. I'm learning on the job, and it's going to make me better down the road. So I see the huge value there.
Yeah, and that also increase the employee motivation.
Yeah, which is next. It says, will incentive pay increase employee motivation? Of course. But in the article, so much of it said no, not in this one, but the other one we read. It talked a lot about, from what I remember, how do people work for money? Not necessarily. They work for, but I think it's equally both. I really do, because we have to have money to live. We have to pay bills. We have to live.
Yeah.
And so I think it's both. But I think the piece of of the job, is it not for the pay? Then that's why we need to do something we enjoy. Because
Right.
I go to work because I need a paycheck, but I also go to work because I actually enjoy what I do. So I'm motivated by both. It's not just one or the other.
Yeah. As you said, I mean, money worked for most people, and if the person knows he or she is going to get rewarded for doing exceptional work, then they will generally produce, you know.
Right.
Um, I mean, same like, I mean, same with the, I mean, it has been showing that kids work harder when there is a reward at the end. They're always
Hmm.
motivated. They're always there, and because they know there will be something that they're gonna receive that probably gonna change something.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah, something that they like,
Uh-huh.
something they
Yeah,
want really bad.
exactly. So they will work hard for it.
Hmm. So in the next area, it says, now you've considered the advantages and disadvantages of the different pay approaches. See if you can get the group to agree on a pay approach. If you agree, close the meeting by saying you'll take the suggestion to Sam. If you can agree, say you'll report to Sam on the areas of disagreement. Then ask how he wants the committee to proceed.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. This is a tough thing because I can't. How can you take on a role of somebody you don't agree? It's not a real discussion then.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I see what they're doing, but it's confusing.
Yeah.
So I think that there should be a base pay too. I think that a person gets hired and okay, we're going to pay you. If you're not salary, then we're going to pay you this much hourly, and
Right.
then beyond that, then you can set incentives. I think individually, I think too that they do need to be individual, but the way that that is gauged or observed is how am I going to work with other people around me? What is my attitude going to be like with other people around me, sharing the knowledge I have? So I think it works both ways. Even though it's an individual, your performance is not a clear cut thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope not anyway. That would make sense. Just because if you are working in a group and they're succeeding, but you're not doing much of anything, and say you've been absent even because of whatever, family illness, your own illness, but yet you have to split that all 5 ways, 6 ways, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that just doesn't make sense to me. But I think that your department manager should have that say. I've never worked in a situation where they do that though. So when I did work for any commission at all, it was an individual thing. It wasn't getting
Mm-hmm.
money off of somebody else working. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
But what do you guys think?
Well, I think well, I think, I think the top Kim is part of their plan needs improvement. And like we agreed, like it does definitely need a base pay, and then definitely need incentive added on. So do we agree like it should be, the incentive pay should be based on individual performance and then a combination of company or group?
Well, I think it should be individual.
I
Okay.
think so too.
Okay.
What do you think, Farouche?
And
Yeah, I think I agree with individual pay. Again, that will, I mean, if it was like, and if there was like any sort of individual pay or any sort of individual reward, there will always be a competition between the employees, and
Yeah.
there will always be an advancement for everyone in the company.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that gives employees more opportunity to go a higher level in the company.
Well, I also think it gives them, I think it causes workers to be more honest instead of doing things just to get the incentive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if it was a group, to me, I mean, I would see some employee. I will see some employee would get like frustrated from some other employees.
Mm-hmm.
They will always think, oh, I'm doing more than this guy. There will always be there will always be frustration between them, and there will always be um,
Probably
some
some animosity.
yeah, yeah, and that will keep that will keep everyone like unhappy,
Yeah,
and not to not to share information with each other.
it's true. It's true, because that does happen in my office and it's not fun.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think that they need to then educate and inform people about the process, the new
Mm-hmm.
system that they're trying to implement, so that way everyone is on the same page.
yep,
Yes, definitely. Because otherwise you can't expect, and you can't expect everybody to understand how the plan is going to work or even
Right.
to buy into it. But the other funny thing is I just haven't seen a company that, I guess these are the top leaders though. And so they're bringing the plan to them and they're not buying into it. So I guess I've never been up to that level of working to where I was a part of that. I've only been on the end of, this is how it is now. Like it or not, these are the changes we're making.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a different side that I've ever had. So what is the most important thing that you learned from this case? Is one of the questions. And to me, it's just that. To me, it's realizing how much effort
Mm-hmm.
and time that these guys and gal have put into having a discussion and throwing around the ideas of why they don't think this works and why this should work, and altering it and having all these discussions. That's great. That amazes me. And how Verde's like, okay, we're going to take this information and come up with a better plan. That's that's really cool.
Well, what I thought of it, I mean, what I have learned from just by reading this case is first, it's not to be in a hurry to change pay plans without careful restructuring to make these plans fit with the company structure.
Very true.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. I mean, to me, I think it doesn't work just to meet and change pay structure for everyone, while that would seem a fair way to do things. It will not benefit the business in the long run.
Right.
So I think this needs like longer time and very, very very deep thinking of
Right.
the pros and cons of any
Mhm.
steps that we take in the company.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
was same thing. Yeah. Sorry for interrupting, Benji. So same thing. Like yeah. Well, so when I used to do business back home, any step I would take, I will always think, okay, if I do this, what's going to happen? What's going to happen in the future, in the long run? If I do this step, what's going to happen? I always think of something. I always think like in the worst cases and apply like really different cases and different situation to the step that I'm going to take, and I make sure that I cover all the situation, all that cases that I apply for my step before I go ahead and do it. As I said, I always make sure to have an answer, to have some other plannings. If I fail, if I like couldn't do it or something happened, what I would be doing, how should I react to it
Mm-hmm.
before I took any steps. So
That's great. You've thoroughly evaluated it.
yeah.
I agree.
Um,
Well, I learned that the pay system is a very complicated thing,
right.
and not everyone is going to be 100% happy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I also learned that sometimes a company also, I think, should also look at maybe it's something else that's causing the problem or the outcome that they're not wanting, as opposed to maybe the pay. You
Mm-hmm.
know, maybe it's not the pay that's affecting the work. Maybe it's something else that they need to look into.
Right.
You know, maybe that there's something wrong with the teams, or maybe the leadership is not where it's supposed to be. You know, it could be just a variety of things that they need to spend a little bit more time on, I think, instead of just jumping automatically and changing a big drastic change to the pay.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like I learned that, you know, organizations, they really think this through.
Right.
There's just so much to go over, and but ultimately at the end it'll be custom to their company, because no company is exactly the same,
Right.
in how they work and how their culture is, and there's so many things to take into an account that makes the company. And so Top Chem definitely is starting, you know, maybe on the right track to do some changes, you know, because I think over time, you know, maybe what was good in the 80s is not good now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's always needing to be like updates, there's always needing to be, you know, improvements and things of that nature that companies have to go through. It's kind of like an evolving process. I feel that I learned that companies have to constantly evolve with the times.
Mm-hmm. Right, because technology changes and cost of living changes. Everything does.
Exactly.
And then they probably have some different leaders in there that have different ideas And change sometimes is good. Change is good. I've had a ton of change. I haven't always liked what they did, but
Right.
I see why they did it, and it just took adjusting.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree. I think it was a big eye opener for, like you said, how companies do pay and all the different things that they need to take in account and consider.
Yeah.
And I think they talked about even having feedback from the workers, having a say, so I don't know whether they'd send out a survey but to me, that truly is a company who really cares about their people. If they're going to even consider their thoughts, whether they take it or not, but just to take the time to create a survey and listen to their thoughts, that's amazing.
Exactly. I agree.
That's great leadership. That's a great sign of leadership to me. It's a lot like what Christ would do. He cares about what people, he wants us to be happy. And even though it has to be done a certain way because there's order and there's laws,
Right.
but there's so many things that you can do within that and still be really Christ-like. And that's kind of what I see in this company. That's pretty cool.
Yes, for sure.
Mhm.
Well, I think we'll wrap it up. And I appreciate you guys being here. I don't have to be the one to submit this, but I can't remember how many times, Vanjie, you've done it. I'll submit it if you guys want me to. Just, I need your feedback.
Well, I can do it too, but I mean, did it twice. And Leslie, I think
And I
you
can't
did it.
remember. I'm going to stop the broadcast because we're done.
Okay.
Okay.